Banning the Braum kind of further suggests that maybe they're leaning towards that for Namgung in this situation. Now, if I'm Dplus, maybe one of the risks actually for them is I was thinking maybe they could go like a Lucian Milio here, but the problem is if you go Lucian in this situation and they take Milio, you can't go Lucian Nami anymore, and Braum's gone now, so they are going to pick the Milio. So this makes sense because you actually can't go Lucian Nami because Mandate is dead. I mean, I guess you could, but I think Nami's significantly worse with the changes to Mandate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, now, there are worlds where you could try to steal away the Lucian and play some kind of weird lane, but that really does kind of hamstring you. So instead, they're just going to play Zyra. Just a little bit of a throwback here for these guys. Maybe some Guardian for that Rakan.
Oh, I think this is cool.
It's getting his stretches in before hyper carrying.
So instead of going for the Lucian Milio, because I think playing a low range carry into this composition of HANJIN BRION, it's tough. It's difficult. The Jinx Milio gives you a lot of range. Jinx often played into the Xayah, can just outrange it. No, they're going to stick to the low range, so going to be dealing with some difficulties here, I feel like.
That one here for Brion. Not a bad start for them in the draft as we hop into the Rift for game number 1. All right, game number 1 of Road to MSI. It's round 1, game 1. These two teams got to fight through so many best of 5s if they want to make it to MSI, and so many fantastic teams. Bro snuck in, but all you need is to get in. If you get in, we've seen so many playoffs and so many roads to MSI go very wonky, and I really do believe that anyone can do it on the right day for them. That being said, DK 3-0. My prediction was 3-1. What did you go for, Ox?
I also went 3-1.
3-1.
I think you are right that things can definitely change. We have seen Filmmaker going for the Deathfire Touch and put some good pressure down on the level 1. Oh, Ghost used early here by Smash. And it's Exhaust by Teddy thrown down. This is kind of what we've seen a lot from the Victor, though, having a good amount of pressure in the lane. Roma already really suffering in this matchup.
I mean, Roamer, we definitely know what he can do, and his return to the LCK after being subbed out for quite a while, and Loki coming in, was great. You know, we were all excited for him, but I do feel like one of his weaknesses is definitely his laning phase. It doesn't feel like he sets himself up to be in a position to carry, but he can carry very well, but needs to get through Showmaker's Victor first.
I do think that when the Orianna hits level 3, definitely gets a good amount of more power, being able to have those abilities to rotate. Same thing happens with the bot lane for Zyra. A lot more threat into a double-ranged bot lane. Interesting casting also. Did just miss the cannon there, but he's actually looking for more damage onto Shiwu. Missed a lot of farm there, but did still get the XP, but is now very far behind in terms of CS compared to Shiwu. Went for the Comet here instead of the Deathfire Touch we've been seeing a lot for the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of utilizing the change to the Arcane Comet with the range and stuff like that, you know, he's got the Harpoons, which are pretty long range, and then, of course, the Equalizer. That can get some value from that. Just good for getting some poke down, as now the bottom lane is kind of in an even spot, but it does look like Teddy and Namgung are trying to push a little bit and get in here, but instead now Gideon going to go up in the air. They're trying to turn onto Lucid as he will flash the knockup. They just want to win the fight instead and spend the flash to do that. And you can see that Smash is kind of zoning Teddy away here. In the mid lane, a battle for Prio as well as Gideon is coming in, doing a lot of damage to Lucid already. The smite goes to Gideon, and Bro will win on the fight here for the Scuttle Crab. Looks like Career gets away as well.
Yeah, little... I mean, it's not too risky because you're playing Jarvans, you can flag and drag away, but a little ambitious from Lucid to try and go for the Scuttle after being forced away and bid on that flash. So I like the fact that Bro contested that. I'm like, no, we burn your flash, you have to back off. I think, honestly, maybe Lucid should have just moved immediately to the top scuttle, and he could have secured that, because now Gideon ends up getting both. So he's feeling really good about that situation. It's kind of how you're feeling when you have that Rakan compared to Emilio, and especially with the Neferi as well. It's very difficult for a Jarvan to play out those skirmishes and get on top of the Neferi. You can just avoid a lot of your damage and your CC.
Yeah, nicely played by Bro. It does feel like a lot of our weaker teams in the LCK will kind of just overforce it on a scuttle fight, especially when they're not really in a position to do so. But Bro, very nicely playing it slowly, plus identifying that they were in a position to actually fight that. So nicely done for them. Definitely a good sign. And Romer was also able to push Showmaker out of the lane while that was all going on. So not so bad from him either.
Romer doing much better now. He's gotten some levels behind him. I think just the early levels Victor is such a problem on that early prio. And doing a good amount better now in this situation. So not too much of concern. First Dragon going to be Chemtech, so feeling pretty good if you can prio that one and avoid the dreaded Chemtech Soul.
Keria comes in, says hello, throws in a shield.
I just hate that. I hate, you know, the worst is Soraka, when like you've been trading kind of evenly and Soraka just walks in the lane and just heals them to full HP. Or the ult just to heal them.
Yeah.
Doesn't even show up. Bothersome.
Diddley not fair.
Diddley can do that too as a jungle. Yeah. I mean, now Showmaker's ahead in HP. The shockwave to clear the wave. That's what he's forced to do after the heal gank.
Yeah. And he doesn't have TP, so Romer, at this point in time, is just kind of gone and not part of the fights. Now Gideon is going to be pushed out a little bit, takes a couple more autos. He's getting low. Could be potential for DK to look for this first objective of the Drake.
I think they should go for it. They have prio bot, have prio mid. This is good timing. Gideon has to recall, so everything kind of coming together well. Gideon getting forced away, prio mid, and actually they're opting not to go for it.
So I guess maybe if he goes back to his jungler, he can hit level 6 and then try to fight over it. But
I think maybe that was the concern in this situation, is that Showmaker wanted to recall, and they thought if Gideon comes back over and they the scuttle's going to spawn soon and Gideon can get 6 of it. I guess that's the thought process in that situation. Like, the timing wasn't quite there, and the fact they missed those 2 scuttles earlier may have been the ultimate cost in that situation. So the consequences from earlier.
Yeah. You see that Lucid took his blue and he's still not level 6, so it's going to take him a little bit more time to do that, as the storm is going to come down and even the stun going to land on a Romer. So he's essentially just pushed out a lane now. Again, still doesn't have TP, but you know, definitely good pressure from Showmaker, but they're not converting into objectives just yet. There's the knockback. Shiyu, he says, you know what? Actually, never mind. I'm not going to go for the all-out. Just kidding.
Yeah, I was looking for the window, it seemed like, but doesn't commit to it. And now Gideon's in the vicinity.
Yeah, this is going to be the harpoon landing. I mean, with the ward there, he gets, you know, good information early. This dragon is warded. It's going to see that and say, you know what, never mind. I feel like both sides are playing this very carefully.
Yeah, this is very cautious, it feels like, in this situation. Showmaker again going for a reset. He had a pretty big HP advantage over Roma earlier, but I feel like Dplus just not wanting to overstep and be punished in this scenario. Feels like there was definitely some windows here where they could have gone for this. Now, Grubs has spawned on the map, and remember, they were buffed pretty substantially on this patch. The damage has been increased by 1/3. The health of the Grubs themselves.
Gideon Grubs.
Gideon Grubs, there you go. He knows. I mean, I say he knows. Gideon loved his Grubs even before the buff, so don't be fooled. He might have just taken them anyway. But getting 3 Grubs, even more significant than before, with the amount the damage, the burn on towers has been increased, and the health of the Grubs you spawn increased by a pretty large margin. So this is substantial that HANJIN BRION have been able to get these, and Dplus just kind of not seemingly taking any of these opportunities that might have arisen to pick up the dragon.
Yeah, no dragon take, no grub take, obviously, for Dplus Kia. And it's mostly just been a Jarvan farming in the jungle after hitting level 6 even. So really no setup. We're not forcing any flashes. We're not really putting pressure anywhere. Dplus Kia do have a very slight lead just from the way the lanes have played out, but really no big step taken in either direction for either team just yet. As Lucid now, he's going to smite on his way out.
Yeah, I also feel like the Jarvan ult is a good amount more impactful than the Neferi ult, so you can just throw that down and burn a flash, and that can have a good amount of impact.
Yeah.
The next 5 minutes, even if you don't necessarily get a kill. And the fact is just being sat on for a while doesn't feel too great.
Smash trying to sidestep into the wall, but you can see there's no follow-up there from Teddy. So not actually going for a big trade or anything like that. And yeah, I think it's definitely good to show respect to your opponents, but you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to play nervous in any of these matchups, really versus any team. So got to be careful to not get too passive for these teams. Might be back to bro and brew territory with where we're at. I feel like we had kind of escaped that for a while. She was like, well, you know what? Actually, I don't want to fight you. Not really. As there's going to be the Slurkle into the Ghost. Is Smash going to go in, land the double slow? Now I'm going trying to just peel. They will be able to, but they are pushed out of the lane. We do see that Lucid is on the Dragon meanwhile, so going to enjoy that very much.
Yeah, eventually finding the pressure of the window that allows them to secure the Dragon, but it is very late compared to some of the opportunities before. They'll secure it though. Hextech Dragon going to be next, so strongest soul and one of the weakest out of the window. Do feel like it still sets up for good odds for a strong soul. Cyclo Sword picked up from Gideon though, which is a massive spike. So likely a window where he wants to start forcing some fights, and then immediately after the TP,
okay, he's just going in. I mean, casting, even if he doesn't die here, he is going to not get hit by the knock-up. Flashes at the very last moment. So they trade flashes, but now casting pretty low after using his TP to get to the top lane.
Yeah, just immediately forces to play in that situation. Now Namgoon trying to find a window here.
Yeah, I don't think Smash is in a very fun spot. As the charm comes in, Namgoon gets out. First blood, easy pickings as Gideon picks it up in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Keria headed up towards the top side, trying to put more pressure onto Casting. Casting no ultimate available to really do anything about this play. But that was such an easy dive for HANJIN BRION there. Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh, God. Keria, you know, your AD carry just died. Like, he was mid, he buffed up Showmaker, now he stopping Casting's back at the second tier turret? Maybe he just should go bot, you know? Casting gonna be in a bit of trouble. Namgoon is here, but I think the damage should be enough, and even the knockback does come in. The flash is there, the shield as well, but the Q gets it down as Lucid picks up a kill himself.
I think Casting was like, okay, my support's here, I should be safe. But without flash into a Jarvan, there's just so little you can actually do. Now, though, they might look for the bot lane. Smash still has flash, though.
Yeah, nice amount of burst there. I feel like maybe if you lead with Namgoon, perhaps you could get the flash out of Smash. But
I think Smash still has ults. Namgoon doesn't have his ult. I think you commit everything. Maybe you force a flash, but they're unwilling to overcommit and go that heavy. At the end of the day, we'll just chunk him out a little bit, force him back. Gold still in favor of Dplus right now. I'm a bit concerned about this top lane matchup. I know Casting was just put behind on the back of that play. He was behind before in that lane, before the whole passage of play happened. Just from like the early lane, when we saw Casting trying to damage Shiwu instead of clearing the farm. And now Shiwu has hit that Koenig Rukian spike, and he's about 800 gold ahead. He's just never really going to feel threatened in this top lane matchup again for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and of course, whenever you have Rumble, generally you have double AP, at least in this meta. I mean, sometimes you see Yone to go along with it, but it does feel like AD mids have certainly fallen off with all the control mages we get in the mid lane, so just double the value there. as Namgung is unfortunately going to get hit by that, and now is pulled under turret, takes so many turret shots, barely lives, but he has to use the quickness and barely gets away. As now Lucid coming in here trying to punish Casting, who still doesn't have his flash. The knockup is going to miss. There's the Cataclysm. So Lucid standing on an equalizer, but he's got Keria behind him, and eventually the flag comes down for the execution, as now they're trying to dive in onto Xiu once again, and these two guys don't deal a whole lot of magic damage, and he will be going down.
Being a top laner is just a rough time. It's just not fun. Both teams putting the hit down on the opposing top laner, and it will just be a trade of turrets, but it is Dplus getting the first turret in this situation, and will further extend that gold lead by a little bit. Dragon up in a minute, Herald in 20 seconds. We'll see what the team's up to prioritize here. Again, no flash into a Jarvan. It's just so difficult. The knockup doesn't quite connect, but with red buff, just autos him down in this situation, and the backup off the Emilio makes it hard to escape the flag to finish him off. Just feels so rough in here. Shiru, as you said, Kenny Rukan just doesn't really do much in this situation. The Neferi as well with the Cyclo Sword just does so much damage.
Yeah, makes even the relatively fed Cassante just kind of fall apart when the two of them are hitting that, as there is vision on this one. They're going in onto Keria, who is taking the damage from the Neferi as the second Q is going to land, and now Namgung is going to back this one up. Teddy trying to get on in there, so trading blows both ways. As now the dash comes in, the combo doesn't land, and Gideon flashes away, but Showmaker with the finish takes down the jungler of Bro. And now potential for DK to take down this objective. You do see that roamer sticking around, trying to threaten. He knows he does a lot of damage with that Luden spike, and actually Lucid is going to have to respect it as he backs away.
Yeah, roamer's still so strong. And at this point, if Dplus stick around, they potentially forfeit the dragon and could just end up dying. It was a great flash from Smash there to avoid the combo. Now Teddy has to be careful. Ult in 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, he's just going to die. Oh no, he flashes the ball.
Flashes away. His ult was so close to being up. So you see this play. I feel like maybe Gideon could have ulted onto Keria sooner here, but doesn't want to commit too heavily to the Emilio, I guess. But when they go for the combo onto Smash, the flash timing is just kind of impeccable.
In live.
See it again, though. They're going once again for the Herald.
Yeah, double TP in here from Bro. So now they're trying to turn onto the Rumble. The smite goes the way of Lucid. He's looking for the flag and drag to get back in. He's going to have to Cataclysm. Doesn't pick up the eye. Finally does at the very last moment. As a big shockwave going to catch the entire bot lane of DK, but the follow-up is just not there. Teddy just arrived, as these two fights for the Herald have been very broken up. Xiu trying to tank here in the front line, but again is being shredded apart by the AD of this composition as they go on in, but Gideon also going to fall. Couple of kills do go the way of Teddy, but now it's Smash and Showmaker leading the charge. But the mobility does come in. Teddy trying to re-challenge. A couple of feathers, and he picks up the kill. Barely taking down his AD carry opponent.
Dangerous game played by Teddy, but on the knife's edge, he's able to take out Smash there. Lucid already so low on the Herald. He just basically gets sacrificed in this situation. You see the rest of Dplus is focused on the casting in the meantime, and he's essentially just buying time. He does chunk out Showmaker, but the shockwave, pretty beautiful from Roma, but Shiru plays Bouncer to stop any follow-up from coming through, and then it's this awkward situation where Roma doesn't want to flash out the pit immediately, so they try and play a long game here. Namgung disrupts Showmaker, and then these low health bars from HANJIN BRION, it gets very scary. Smash is healthy enough to start to push up, but we see Teddy, when the distance comes down, he thinks, I can take this. He actually didn't quite have exhaust available, and he just goes for it without the summoner spell. Finds the feathers to make it work, and they manage to get back on the map and get Dragon as well. Teddy now 4-0 on this Xayah, and he has so often been the win con for this HANJIN BRION lineup, and he is once again in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the tiny angles he's finding to pick up these kills and just get himself fed. That's even before the Xayah really kind of takes off and takes over the game, so really liking it as Teddy, again, two seconds away from the Feather Storm. as they're all chasing him. The Featherstorm not going to help too much against the Cataclysm, and Teddy doesn't even bother to use it. He just says, you know what, I messed up. There's 4 of them here. There's a Rift Herald. I'm alone. I just kind of have to accept my fate. As Dplus Kia, though, will enjoy the trade as they even get a charge here in the second tier.
So many of the Keria experiences from Teddy have been on things like the Ezreal, and it's just felt like teams haven't had the tools to answer him. But on the Xayah into the Jarvan, that Cataclysm is going to consistently be a problem for Teddy when his flash isn't available. As you said, the ultimate just isn't a great answer, and often you're just going to stay trapped in there even if you pop it. So a good move there from Dplus. Despite the fed Xayah, it's still a 2,000 gold lead. Lucid very fed, Shiru very fed.
Shiu is very much in no man's land. He's being chased by 3 people here, as even the charm is going to come down, the equalizer as well. Triple knock, but he's trying to taxi his way over the wall. But the flash on him from Namgung, they still don't get him low enough as he dashes under the turret. The knockup is there, and even the shield comes in to nearly save him. Makes it interesting in the 1v3, but they do get the kill.
I mean, he dies, but it's kind of intimidating just how long he survived in that situation.
Yeah, the 0-3 Cassante.
It certainly sends a message. And they commit pretty hard to get him in this scenario. So many resources in terms of the flash from the Rakan, the fact that they need 3 ultimates. And yeah, they take him down. It still works out. They don't lose anything on the map for this. But it does sort of suggest to you that when it gets to fights, he is not going to be an easy target to deal with. He is going to continue to be a problem in the 5v5.
Yeah, they're really going to need Teddy, mainly, especially once he picks up that finished Last Whisper item, which he is going for 3rd. He's going to be the main source of damage into this Cassante.
I think going for that immediately makes a lot of sense. The fact Gideon has the Black Cleaver also makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Fury great at stacking that as well with the bleed, so definitely a good amount of value there. There's a Cloud Soul coming through, so that movement speed definitely useful, but also on like the Rakan, very powerful. Yunara, also a champion, he gets a ton of value when those ultimates are popped.
Xayah, not so much. I mean, a little bit. I mean, if you do it in a fight and you utilize that movement speed, sure.
I mean, honestly,
it's not bad.
Every champion just gets value from the passive movement speed, but honestly, Xayah, you ult, and then you get that movement speed to reposition for the feathers. There's champions who get, like, nothing from it, like Xerath. Xerath is, like, the worst. But
I think he's number 1.
Xayah is still decent.
Yeah. I think where my brain was trying to go with that is that he still has to deal with Cataclysm, so Cloud Soul isn't going to help him there. But
yeah, that's fair.
If it's in a fight where Cataclysm is used, or he has Flash, he's definitely going to be getting value out of that Soul. So definitely going to have both these teams fighting over it, as I think we've kind of escaped our Game 1 jitters and passivity for both of these teams.
Definitely feels that way. More Lucid. Felt like they were collapsing onto him, but he does just flag and drag away. The poke comes down. A minute until the dragon. A lot of the back and forth was around this Baron area. You can see Dplus managing to get some vision into HANJIN BRION's jungle there, but now imagine the setup is coming onto the dragon area. You can see pings from both sides coming down. Keria already moving in to get some wards as HANJIN BRION open onto the map. And right now, pretty much all summoners available. It's only Namgoon's flash that is down. Teddy having his flash really big for these situations. Being able to flash out of the Cataclysm will be make or break when it comes to these situations. But Rakan not having his does make things a little trickier when we're trying to find angles to engage and set up the fights.
Yeah. Especially because both these teams are a dragon apiece, and it's also relatively late. You know, it's going to be a while before we even get an Elder Spawn or even a Cloud Soul. So I would expect both these teams to kind of weigh their options and say, well, if we're not in a position to really fight over the dragon, we don't necessarily have to go all in on it. But at the moment, I mean, you've got Showmaker and bot, you've got Cassante top. There is a way for DK to try to get in here.
Casting just finished his Bloodletters, which is pretty big. And Teddy didn't get to finish his LDR. Showmaker's on a crazy flank.
Yeah. I mean, Casting can easily just zone him away and equalizer back on the fight. So that's going to be the Drake the way of Bro, and I think the positioning here for DK not the best, and they don't commit, which I think is definitely the right call. Xiu very tanky. Gideon struggling to get even through the shields here. Bit of damage comes from the Orianna, but yeah, DK just saying, okay, it's one Drake. We're not going to overcommit for this.
Yeah, Gideon just kind of brute forces his way out of the river because Xiu can't do much to him. He always has that untarget ability to kind of just force you to be unable to commit onto him. And they make their way out of the river. They got the dragon. They got what they wanted. Don't need to go for more. Now, though, Dplus are kind of threatening. Oh, Namgoon plays a dangerous game there, but Dplus are trying to threaten here as they have control of the Baron area. There's no vision for HANJIN BRION there, but there isn't too much threat that Dplus start up the Baron right now.
Yeah. I feel like Dplus Kia are doing a good job of controlling the map with their slight lead that they have, and obviously setting up the vision line, and just saying, okay, we're in a better spot. This will make it more likely that you make a mistake when trying to attack into our vision, into our map control. They took down the mid-tier one as well, which is certainly helping out with that. And they're just kind of utilizing that to say, okay, you know, you got the one Drake, but the map is ours, and we want to continue just holding on to it and get everything else.
You see some big purchases came in that were just missing from that last Dragon setup. Teddy gets the LDR, GA for Lucid comes through. IE is pretty close for Smash. I feel like Dplus don't really want to make any big moves before that is completed, but HANJIN BRION feeling confident, trying to set up for the mid tower.
For a second there, Namgoon was just out of range of the dash back, and I'm like, Teddy, you I know it's long range with this duo, but like, you gotta get at least within that range. I do like the little chunk that they grouped up for here in mid, especially when not much is going on.
Yeah. Okay, Smash does pick up the IE, so has that completed. And oh, she was going aggressive here.
He wants to try to set something up, but now Equalizer going to come down. He just respect flashes away. You could see that DK on the minimap was rotating down to try to help.
Yeah, HANJIN BRION last time they saw Xiu in that position, committed so much to kill him. But when Baron is available, I don't think you want to do that again. But also Xiu doesn't want to die, so he just flashes away. Become a bit of a slower game. Both teams kind of posturing a lot, back and forth, ebb and flows of pressure and vision. It's still Dplus who have the gold, and you can feel like the map control right now. And Bro just trying to find a way in to make sure they have presence in the Baron area.
Yeah. I like the way that Lucid is playing in this very passive game where he's essentially just a human ward. Like, he knows that they don't really have a lot of threat onto him because he has Flag and Drag. He just holds on to that. He has Flash. He's ahead. He's the most ahead out of anyone. He's very tanky. Well. He has GA. And so he's just like, you know, I'm just going to put my flag down and see exactly where you are. And there's really nothing you can do about it because you're never going to punish me. So I just stand in your face and we get extra information.
Wow, Namgoon, the patch note reader, has Locket Zeeks.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, you could probably just build these on before this patch, but
we don't, it feels like we don't have the best patch note readers in the world here at the LCK, unfortunately. Yeah. I've seen many a player reading them like before we go live. It is what it is.
Let's be real. We've had some players reading the LoL wiki in at Worlds during a semi-final, reading what Dr. Mundo's abilities do. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
That was a thing.
No judgment here.
I think especially when you're a support for this patch, it's like, hey, there are some big changes. You should probably know about them, even if you're not playing a champ that directly benefits from them. As it really does feel like we've entered true Bro and Brew territory. We have kind of been sitting here for 5 minutes, and it's been the same gold lead. You saw that gold graph was very just kind of flat lines there at 2K.
Wonder how much damage Lucid has done with the, you know, the red smite burn, and just hitting people with his flag constantly. I feel like he's gotten so much poke damage off that.
Oh, they want to go for this. They're going in on Smash. There is the combo, and the Yunara just disappears, Bro. Takes him out just like that, and now Keria is kind of just dead meat as well on the backside of this one. Double kill for the Nefarious. She was really trying to put to the test how tanky he is as the Equalizer comes in. They're trying to turn on a Casting, as it might be a trade of top laners, but no, Casting is going to live. And Bro say, okay, let's group up and look for this Baron.
The Bro and Brew just suddenly starts to roast Dplus. Showmaker trying to get some damage down. Now, there's still a chance of a Smite Steal, and Showmaker has a lot of damage, but it's 2v5. Gonna be hard to pull this off, and Namgun has the sustain for the Gleaming Quill. Oh, they're looking for Roma.
Yeah, I mean, the turn here as well. They don't have a lot of ults on their side, as look at them. He's just trying to get the GA and the Cataclysm so Showmaker can do some damage. Romer's getting low as Lucid goes back in, picks up a kill, but now Showmaker no mana, and Lucid also will eventually fall, it looks like, unless he does flag and drag over the wall. Gideon on the chase, 5 seconds on the ults. As meanwhile, Rabadon's picked up here for Romer. Lucid does go back in, trying to take out Namgun, but the heal on the Gleaming Quill picks up the non-death, as Bro does get the Baron.
It was an ambitious play from Showmaker and Lucid, but here this engage was so good. Kind of like the Nocturne Orianna combo. Smash steps up. Last time he flashed this time he does not. The follow-up is there from Namgun. And then what I actually love about this play is Casting's ult. They know Shiwu doesn't have flash, so when he dashes away here, this Equalizer that he throws down, he just can't get out.
Yeah.
So he's just trapped on it. Just completely melts, ends up going down. Casting flashes away here, and it means they get 3 kills. Because you imagine, if the Cassante was here, they might have actually been able to win this fight, 3v5, with how low the health bars actually get. So it was actually very important that the Cassante died in that situation. The health bars get low. Showmaker's trying to do his best to get the damage down, but they focus him out. Lucid also trying to turn this play around. But unfortunately, the Guardian comes in. Lowered cooldown on this patch, potentially making a difference. And now HANJIN BRION finally getting a gold advantage. A significant one other than those tiny blips at 11 and 16 minutes.
Yeah. And it's definitely a very nice step forward here for Bro. It's still very much an open game. I do think that Bro, Lucid trying to make it not so much, as Teddy just going to take him down. Lucid saying, oh, I can still just stand right next to you, right? Nope, not anymore. Yeah, DK, I don't know what's going on now. I was about to say, like, oh, you know, maybe DK can fight back and we got a game on our hands, but no. Bro just kind of taking names and forcing people to flash.
I think in that couple of moments, I just saw all of the 3-0 predictions die.
Yeah. I think that's well said. I mean, Dplus Kia, they've been very unpredictable.
I say that.
This
the
year.
3-0 Dplus predictions, 3-0 Bro predictions, still feeling very alive. Not that we had any on our broadcast.
Well, we had the fake G-Sun one. We could maybe give that one to her. As now Xiu is going to push back Namgun, but Namgun is Rakan, so doesn't really care. Big shockwave on it too, but no follow-up as they're backing away.
Dplus just not really handling the pressure from HANJIN BRION well. Baron power play 4,300. When we came back after the replay, there was about a 700 gold lead for HANJIN BRION, and you can look at that gold graph. Sometimes teams get Baron and they get a little bit of gold. They manage to get, you know, a couple of structures here and there, but it's like, how impactful really was it? This is an example of a situation where Dplus just kind of bled out a good amount. Weren't really able to stop the flow, and HANJIN BRION now have a massive advantage. There's Baron in 2.5 minutes, there's Dragon in 2 minutes 40, and it is Soul for them. Teddy also has his core items completed, 100% crit chance, has the IE, has the LDR, and by the time we get to those next objectives, he will also have GA completed. So he is extremely strong. Roma has... Oh, he has ult, so he's okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to force the ult, but, like, Xiu also is taking a massive amount of damage. Just being chunked out by the Xayah. And this is what the Xayah offers you in this late game. Getting kind of goes in a bit wonky there. Takes a lot of damage as Namgung again has to peel. And now we got a TP coming in. I think Casting is going to regret that one, as now this is getting very much mixed up, and DK just rolled them in the mid lane. As bro, that is not the way you win after the Baron power play.
I'm lost. Dplus win the game. They just,
Wow.
They just win the game, just like that. Wow, well, I guess the 3-0 predictions are back on the menu.
I really don't know what to think after this. As Gideon is going in, he's got GA. I mean, maybe he can clear a little bit, but yeah, it's just floundering as a big mistake for Bro in the mid lane. Mixing it up with Dplus Kia, who immediately called their bluff and shut him down. You don't instantly kill the Unara. You're not going to have a clean fight. And Dplus Kia just